enough with the discussion topics. I think we know this, and it's time to start that by doing this. There we go. Good evening. It's Tuesday, Tuesday, Tuesday. The day that time forgot. I don't know why, but it's our theme song, so we're sticking with it. That's right. How's everybody doing? Well, I'll tell you, I am pretty good. It's been kind of a rough couple of days in the old body parts. So I was telling Diane earlier, I said, maybe I won't go the full hour tonight. Maybe people will understand if I... She said, get in there and play, man. I bet you once you start, it'll be cool. Yeah. So I guess that means I should probably start, because it'll probably be cool. Or something like it. But where do I start? How about I'll try starting here. Starting out from Libby Creek, tent stakes and hay rakes, old habits and new breaks, notice how it shows. Starting out from Libby Creek, garlic farm in the Met How, yes, veggie and no cow, notice how it shows. Starting out from Libby Creek, 100-year-old farmhouse, cat chasing a field mouse, notice where she goes. Starting out from Libby Creek, all day on a hillside, lose the boots and come inside, notice how it glows. Climb right out of your skin, trade your ends for begins, all your best friends dropping in. Yeah, yeah. Starting out from Libby Creek, backpacking to Oval Peak, the head is high and the legs are weak, notice how it shows. Starting out from Libby Creek, you can't dwell on the future, the here and now is so pure, notice how it shows. Climb right out of your skin, trade your ends for begins, all your best friends dropping in. Yeah, yeah. Starting out from Libby Creek, fell down and got bit, better walk in the creek and sit, you know how it goes. Starting out from Libby Creek, don't forget who you are here, far away from the city fear, and notice how it shows. Notice how it shows. There you go. Starting out from Libby Creek. It's an excellent place to start. So, bear with me if my energy is not ideal tonight. We shall see how it goes. Poetry. Poetry this evening from one Jack Gilbert. Jack Gilbert. Now, if you're a member of the Westminster Basement Study Group, you heard these poems recently. Also, if you're in my songwriting group, you may have heard one or two of these, but I needed to practice. I needed to practice for tonight because Jack Gilbert is, he's something, that guy. And there's a book called Refusing Heaven. That's the first Jack Gilbert book that I got, and it came out. Jack passed away 3 years ago, I think. And this book came out in 2005. I think it was a pretty new book when I first got into Jack Gilbert, so... But the opening poem was the one that blew the back of my head off. And it did that. It addresses something that the new song I wrote, the most recent song, Couples Hymn, it's called. Yeah, I know the title to my own songs. Thank you very much. I may be the only one, but I do know them. Part of what it talks about is happiness in a time of crisis, and how that creates the kind of emotional landscape that brings about in someone, and what we're supposed to do with that. How do we handle that? I'm not being very eloquent. I should just let Jack Gilbert say it, because that's kind of where he goes. What this first poem is about. I think I'm going to read 3 Jack Gilbert poems tonight. They're quite dense. I wish that I could read them each like 3 times, because they deserve it. Refusing Heaven is a good place to start if you want to try some Jack Gilbert. This is called A Brief for the Defense. Sorrow everywhere, slaughter everywhere. If babies are not starving someplace, they are starving somewhere else, with flies in their nostrils. But we enjoy our lives because that's what God wants. Otherwise, the mornings before summer dawn would not be made so fine. The Bengal tiger would not be fashioned so miraculously well. The poor women at the fountain are laughing together between the suffering they have known and the awfulness in their future, smiling and laughing while somebody in the village is very sick. There is laughter every day in the terrible streets of Calcutta, and the women laugh in the cages of Bombay. If we deny our happiness, resist our satisfaction, we lessen the importance of their deprivation. We must risk delight. We can do without pleasure, but not delight, not enjoyment. We must have the stubbornness to accept our gladness in the ruthless furnace of this world. To make injustice the only measure of our attention is to praise the devil. If the locomotive of the Lord runs us down, we should give thanks that the end had magnitude. We must admit there will be music despite everything. We stand at the prow again of a small ship, anchored late at night in the tiny port, looking over the sleeping island. The waterfront is 3 shuttered cafes and 1 naked light burning. To hear the faint sound of oars in the silence as a rowboat comes slowly out and then goes slowly back is truly worth all the years of sorrow that are to come. That's called A Brief for the Defense. Jack Gilbert. You really got to live in these poems, you know. I don't know how to make that happen for you this evening, so I'm just gonna, just give me a little zap, a little shot to see if anything takes hold. Here's one more. This one's a little easier. It's called Failing and Flying. Everyone forgets that Icarus also flew. It's the same when love comes to an end, or the marriage fails, and people say they knew it was a mistake, that everybody said it would never work, that she was old enough to know better. But anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Like being there by that summer ocean on the other side of the island while love was fading out of her, the stars burning so extravagantly those nights that anyone could tell you they would never last. Every morning she was asleep in my bed like a visitation, the gentleness in her like an antelope standing in the dawn mist. Each afternoon I watched her coming back through the hot stony field after swimming, the sea light behind her and the huge sky on the other side of that. Listened to her while we ate lunch. How can they say the marriage failed? Like the people who came back from Provence when it was Provence and said it was pretty but the food was greasy. I believe Icarus was not failing as he fell, but just coming to the end of his triumph. Jack Gilbert, Refusing Heaven.
Maybe one of the reasons that I'm feeling a little iffy tonight is that I'm stretching myself a little bit more, trying to play some songs that I haven't played in a while. Maybe that's it. Like this one. Used to be, back in the day, when I was first starting out, when we were starting out as singer-songwriters, the idea was to get airplay, was to get on the radio. Do people want that anymore? What is the radio anymore? I worked in radio for 10 years, you know, in a small town where radio still matters, but radio is so different now than it used to be. Different than it was when I wrote this song. So let's see how much of it remains, shall we?
Still clinging to the reason I asked you here, still peering through the periscope. I look around and see plastic opportunity. I pick it up and there's only hope. Blame it all on some backlit fantasy of spending too long staring out at the sun. Just think if I could sing and we could listen with the radio on. With the radio on, yeah. Coffee's cooking and the bulbs are all burning in. Last drops of some midnight fuel. Sometimes I'm choking on something that's broken and sometimes I'm polishing up a jewel. Up and down is my pattern of living and I know it ain't a whole lot of fun. Just think if I could sing and we could listen with the radio on. With the radio on, yeah. Patience hides inside a mound of emotions and we miss the things that we need the most. This may not seem like any courageous moment, but I'll change the diaper, you make the toast. Blame it all on some backlit fantasy of spending too long staring out at the sun. Just think if I could sing and we could listen with the radio on. With the radio on, yeah. With the radio, radio, radio on. Radio on. Radio on, yeah.
Yeah, that one's from, excuse me, I'm moving in. Oh, the hand, wait, hand. Hold on, I'm sorry, I had to. Go ahead. Hello, the hand is here. Hello, hand, wait. Thank you, hand. I feel better already. Having the hand in the room. Wanted to say that was from, yeah, that was from this album, Lifelike. Still available on CD. Yeah. More about that in a minute. Let's see, who do we have? Heidi Muller. Oh my goodness, hi Heidi. Pam Boldick of Magical Strings. Hello Pam. Welcome aboard. Lori Trout. Hey Lori, get a hold of Toby. Tell him to tune in. Ken and Julie Higgins. Rochelle. Blondie? Oh my goodness. Peter of the C&P Coffee Company. Loves the way you play the guitar. Thank you. And Mark Kenny. How deep is your well, Mark? How deep did they have to dig up where you live or down where you live? I don't know. Something I need to take care of. Something I need to take care of before we go any further. I need to talk for just a moment. I'm moving in on you, coming up front. About this picture right here. this picture right here. Now, who in this picture seems to be aware that there's a camera nearby? Yeah, that would be your old pal Bill, who's this guy right here with the bullet-shaped head. You see why I've never had a crew cut since then is because my head is actually shaped like the nose cone of some sort of ballistic missile, actually, if you think about it. But sitting directly to my right there, that is Stacy Kuykendall, whose birthday is today. Happy birthday to Stacy. Happy birthday to Stacy. Happy birthday to Stacy. Happy birthday to her. She's an old friend of mine from Fox Island. This is the Fox Island gang. That's Scott. Oh, I keep using the wrong hand. That's Scott right there. That's my sister. That's Janet Larson, I think her name was. Sue Beer, Stacy, Bill, and over. That's Dana. All the kids. And I remember this day because this was my first melon ball bowl. It was a carved out watermelon that had like melon balls, like watermelon and cantaloupe and honeydew. I'd never had one of those before. And there was a bunch of toothpicks in all of them. And you could just, it was like finger food. It was great. That was on Sue Beer's front porch out on Fox Island. Yeah. Anyway. Happy birthday, Stacy. I want to sing Summer Island for Stacy because Stacy was part of that experience for me. And we're still friends after all these years. At least I hope we are. I know I've sung this one a few times, but kind of lets you know how important it is in my life.
Heartbreak me back to Summer Island. Map in my mind the Puget Sound. Replay those memories like movies. Restore each frame of dewy ground. Now that my good work's growing weary and my relations growing wings, I will not feel so old and dreary if I can recollect these things. Heartstrings that sing on Summer Island around a fire of salted wood. I hear those melodies receding. I'd run to catch them if I could, before the photos fade completely and all our gardens turn to stone. These friends I'd serenade discreetly to press more love into their bones. Heart warm me home to Summer Island, where my first flare for words was lit. These crooked lines are just a remnant of how they fed intended it. Now that my good work's growing weary and my relations growing wings, I will not feel so old and dreary if I can recollect these things. Heartbreak me back to Summer Island. Map in my mind the Puget Sound. Replay those memories like movies. Restore each frame of dewy ground. Replay those memories like movies.
Happy birthday, Stacy. Stacy lives up in Alaska now. Yeah. Up there in the wild North Country. I like it. So, people, I want to thank some people. I want to thank Henry and Charlotte and Stefan, first of all, because they crashed the gate. They snuck backstage after last week's show, and they sent this wonderful video message to Diane and me, which we absolutely loved. The hand seems to be standing in the doorway. I love this. You've kind of got the Vanna White hand thing. Wait, you need to be farther in a little bit. There you go. Yes, there you are. I love that. Let's see, John Merrill, Kazam Memories, yes. Well, Katrina Knight she is from Reading, Pennsylvania. I wanted to thank Katrina too. Yeah. Kathleen, you can't go away. I can't read your writing. Mary is here. Mary Lenz is here as well as Kelly. That's good. Glad you're here too, Mary. Cheer that guy up, will you? Yeah. Here's Holly. Holly Tuttle sent this beautiful card, which includes this lovely cartoon. Holly is quite the cartoonist. Lovely cartoon. Oh, sorry, wrong side. COVID hair of her with her guitar. I just love that. My dad was a cartoonist, yes, a magazine cartoonist. We'll talk more about that. The reason I wanted to thank these people, the reason I wanted to thank Henry and Charlotte and Stefan, the reason I wanted to thank Holly and Kim on Vashon Island, Kathy and Loris in Bozeman, Montana, part of the Bill Willem contingent, and Katrina in Reading, Pennsylvania, is because they made contact with me via email or via some other means. I love reading the comments after the show. I love that. But I always feel like that's not a good place to have a conversation, because if I say something in response and then you see my response like the next day or the 2 days later, and then you write something in response to that, I may never see that. So we can't start a conversation. That's why I put my email address up there in the corner with all that other information up there. My email address is up there. Talk to me. I told you, if you write to me, give me your postal address. If you still play CDs at your house, I've got 1 CD, I've got 2 CD, I've got 3 CD, I've got 4 CD, and I've got the brand new CD. And I would be happy to send them to you. I would much rather have them in your hands, getting played at your house, than sitting in boxes down in my garage. At this point in my life, you know what? I'm not going to get rich off of this stuff. I'm not interested. I'm interested in having people, if they want my music, to be able to have it. Now, we got the Bandcamp site, and there's 2 of my albums, Right at the Light and Gravity. I don't have any CDs of those, so you can only get them at Bandcamp. But those other 5, hit me up. I'm not kidding about this. There's a book, there's a song of mine called The Book of Edsel that is on the album Raise Your Heart. But I kind of rearranged it for that album. And I really like it. I like it. And my nephew TJ Cope plays with me on that version, on that album. But, you know, I got jonesing for the original arrangement. I had to search through my personal archives to find a recording, to see if I even had a recording of that original version. I was able to scare one up. This is a song that Ray Robertson and I used to play at the Mazama Store Pizza Night on Wednesday nights. I loved playing this with Ray. He was a hand drummer and he and I used to play together when I lived up in the Met House. We used to come over to Seattle and play too. Maybe you saw us back in the day at the Honey Bear Bakery or the Latona or one of those places. We used to play this song. The Book of Edsel is a kind of a, I wanted to write a song that said, I have moved to this new place. I have changed my life. I've turned my life upside down. I've given up on the ideas of being Mr. Rich and Famous touring musician, because I found out I don't like touring that much. I don't like being away from home. So how are you supposed to make a living playing music if you don't want to leave home? Well, you got to adjust your expectations. So, moving to the Methow Valley, to that 6 acres on Libby Creek. was a declaration of independence in a way, from my own head. And it took me a while to adjust. But then I felt like, you know what? If I die here, I'm fine with it. This is something I did because I wanted to, something I did for me and for my family, and darn it. So I'm going to give this a try. Bear with me. It's a little rusty, and my body's a little tweaked tonight. As the weather warms up, my body gets a little tweaky. But this is the Book of Edsel.
Edsel came from the city, landed out here in the trees. He brought his digital baggage and his eccentricities. He got his tractor running on a bench up over the hill, and the sound of that heavy equipment brought a curse and a laugh and a chill. Send some love to your parents, estrange back over the humps, then drive down into your talents. Give it gas when you get to the bumps. Voodoo peak in his left eye, Pipestone Canyon the right. He realigned all of his systems, worked the day and slept the night. Picked up a shovel on Christmas, picked up a shovel in June, picked up his daddy's old arch top and bathed something new with the moon. Send some love to your parents, estranged back over the humps, then drive down into your talents. Give it gas when you get to the bumps. You'll get to the bumps. Edsel couldn't have been happier in his drafty old trailer estate, but he got real high last November and he broke through the ice at the lake. The city people gave him a service, the country folk danced all night. Some people made new plans that day and some folks got it right. They sent some love to their parents, estranged back over the humps. Then they drove down into their talents, gave it gas when they got to the bumps. And they got to the bumps. So send some love to your parents, estranged back over the humps. Then drive down into your talents, give it gas when you get to the bumps.
Or something like that. That's the Book of Edsel. I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I did that. Glad I'm taking some risks, even when the body is a little... You want me to talk about it? My right arm hurts. Although when it's in motion, it doesn't hurt. It also feels tingly, like it's coming out of being asleep. But when I move it, it doesn't seem to have lost any strength or agility. That's good. Also, the left side of my face hurts. That's, yeah, that's weird. And these are things that tend to get a little worse when the weather warms up. You know? These are the things. And that and my right hip, which I don't think is MS related. It's like bursitis. Iliopsoas bursitis, to be precise. Perhaps I can show you my MRI next week. That'll be fun. We'll do that. Yeah, we can go have a whole medical kind of thing. I can get my doctors to come in. We can do like a Zoom thing. Yeah, be fun. Be good. I'm sure you'd enjoy that. Aren't you? No? Okay. Maybe not. Anyway, I wanted to make sure to say happy birthday to Stacy tonight. I wanted to thank those people who have been making contact via email and other means. You know, Facebook Messenger is fine. It's just that these comments are precious, and I will read every one of them. But if we can't start a conversation here, is what I'm saying. You can have a conversation with Diane tonight because she's in there doing it in real time and having fun. And I love her, you know. Yeah. She's the reason I'm doing this, you know. That's us right back there. That's Mr. Bighead and Diane. Yeah. Mr. Widehead. Actually, I'm a little in front of Diane in that picture. I don't know. Yeah. So that's really not a fair representation of the difference in our head sizes. I just want to make that clear for anyone who might be wondering. That's also the profile picture on my Facebook page right now. So she's actually a little bit behind me. I know what you're thinking. I see what you're thinking. So I wanted to play this one for my daughter Alice because she appears in this song. I would love to be able to tell you that I was going to play the song Alice's Birthday, which is, it's a song I simply can't sing anymore. Not because it's too high or that I can't do the guitar part. It's just that I can't, emotionally, I cannot make it through it. I'm still working on it. And every once in a while I give it another try. But, you know, I'm going to do this one instead. This is called How a Dollar Is. It's from the album The Water Dance. Yeah.
Scrape me off of this electric ceiling, push me out into the frozen wood, feel out of place and it's the fool's revealing. Back in the house I got video violence, back in the house I got petroleum food, out here that fool hears an unnatural silence. I think we're all beginning to understand how a dollar is the devil's fist clenched tight on a human hand. What good are all these colors and borders? What did that wall mean anyway? The business suits are up there handing out orders. I see the faces of the children in Asia on the news or some other show. Remember how all that stuff used to faze ya? I think we're all beginning to understand how a dollar is the devil's fist clenched tight on a human hand. I know a lot about emotional baggage. I'm well acquainted with the one who waits. I ask myself, is there a soul left to salvage? But there's a little bed in a little room, a little heart and a little wound, a speck of light inside King Tut's tomb. I think we're all beginning to understand how a dollar is the devil devil's fist clenched tight on a human hand. I think we're all beginning to understand how a dollar is the devil's fist clenched tight on a human hand.
There's a little bed in a little room, a little heart and a little womb, a speck of light inside of King Tut's tomb. That's how that last verse goes. Yeah. How's everybody doing? You hanging in there? You hanging in there with these old tunes? This is fun going back through this stuff, you know. I can't go too far back. Can't go too far back. But where are we here? One more Jack Gilbert for you. This is from his book, The Great Fires. And it is the title poem, The Great Fires. Jack Gilbert is really worth it. If you like poetry, man, this guy will take you places nobody else goes. He won the Yale Younger Series of Poets back with his first book, and then he moved to a little island off of Greece and lived there for most of the rest of his life. You know, a lot of it just writing and living in poverty and writing and doing his thing. And every 20 years or so, he'd come back and put out a new book of poems. And then towards the end of his life, he got pretty prolific. Put out like 3 books in 20 years. Whoa, Jack. Suddenly he's getting all wordy. You know. Anyway, I only became acquainted with him about, like I said, about 15 years ago. So, but he's been around for a long time. The Great Fires. Love is apart from all things. Desire and excitement are nothing beside it. It is not the body that finds love. What leads us there is the body. What is not love provokes it. What is not love quenches it. Love lays hold of everything we know. The passions which are called love also change everything to a newness at first. Passion is clearly the path, but does not bring us to love. It opens the castle of our spirit so that we might find the love which is a mystery hidden there. Love is one of many great fires. Passion is a fire made of many woods, each of which gives off its special odor, so we can know the many kinds that are not love. Passion is the paper and twigs that kindle the flames but cannot sustain them. Desire perishes because it tries to be love. Love is eaten away by appetite. Love does not last, but it is different from the passions that do not last. Love lasts by not lasting. Isaiah said each man walks in his own fire for his sins. Love allows us to walk in the sweet music of our particular heart. That poem was on the inside of the little bulletin at Diane's and my wedding back in 2009 at the Antique Sandwich Company in Tacoma. Scott and Rhonda were there. Were Ken and Julie there? They probably were. Do I see Cindy Snyder? Yeah, Cindy Snyder's here. Hope your internet keeps working, Cindy. She's getting it. Little by little, bit by bit. I want to sing a song for a guy who lives in Egypt. Chris Broderick. It's a guy I have known through music for many, many years. He and his young family now are in Cairo. And he teaches, he and his wife, I think, are both teachers over there. And he's probably not watching, but he may see this on the replay. I I'll play this for Marjorie also, because Marjorie Richards, if she's out there, she'll see the replay if she's not here with us. She was with me on this night. This is a song, this is the only song I can remember ever writing from a point of anger. I was angry when I wrote this song. The song is called King of the Art. And it was written after I was at a open mic at a place called The Last Exit on Brooklyn in the U District here in Seattle. This was many, many years ago. And they had an open mic every week. And you signed up, they opened the sign-up list at 6:30, but the open mic didn't start till 9. It went from 9 until midnight, I believe, on Wednesday nights, if I'm not mistaken, The Last Exit on Brooklyn. And it was a good place because people tended to listen. So everybody wanted to play. So I'd been going there for some weeks and had been, you know, signing up but not getting picked, not being one of the few that would get to play, because it was like you got 3 songs. So I think that between 9 and midnight there were like 4 sets an hour, so there were like 12 sets total. Only 12 people got to play, and you'd have like 26 would sign up, or 35, you know. So Mary-eyed, I believe, was the one who ran that open mic some nights, and the owner of the place, I can't remember who that was, ran it on other nights. Anyway, I was there one night, and I got there before 6:30, put my name on the list right at 6:30, started drinking coffee, you know. And I got back, when they put the list up, I got the last set of the night. So I was going to be on at 11:45. Drank a lot of coffee, smoked a lot of cigarettes. Yeah, it was back in those days. So you're waiting and you're drinking coffee. I was probably talking with Marjorie and stuff like that, and we were excited or whatever. I don't know what happened. The guy who went before me, the guy who went right before me, he had a look about him. You know, he was cool. He was cool, you know. And he played his 3 songs, and he was kind of running long. And I went to the guy who was running the open mic. Hey, am I still going to be able to get up and do my set? He said, yeah. As long as you start before midnight, you can do your 3 songs. It's no big deal. I said, okay. So I wasn't really worried about it. So the guy that was playing, he finished his 3rd song, and then I saw him motion the owner over, and he said something to the owner, and the owner was kind of like, you know, they were kind of like backs to me and talking like this with gestures, you know, going on. And finally the owner said, and turns around and walks away, and the guy says, rather than bring up another performer, I'm just going to do one more song and we're going to call it a night. This actually happened. When I think back on this, I'm like, did this really happen like this? Marjorie can correct me because, you know, I rewrite these stories. I've been rewriting these stories for decades now, but this one I'm pretty sure that's the way it happened. I remember the song. He played. I won't give you the title of the song, but it was kind of cheesy. And I remember I left that night, I was fuming. And I went home, and I think I wrote part of it that very night and then finished it the next day or something. Was able to go back the following week, got a set earlier in the evening, and was able to play that song at the open mic. This song, King of the Art.
Suddenly better than me. You're better than me. The other night at the club was such an intricate scene. You bumped me off of the list, you bumped me out of a dream. I thought I saw some sincerity, but you were showing me charity. The cheesecloth reality was showing a seam. identity. Hairdos and outfits are all they've got time to see. And you're suddenly better than me. You're better than me. You got more right to stand here. You got more right to talk to her. You got more right to do anything than anybody else here. You got more right to the espresso bar. You got more right to the Wi-Fi. You got more right to get up and sing songs about how sensitive you are. Because you look the part. You're the king of the art. Because you look the part. You're the king of the art. Because you look the part. You're the king of the art. Because you look the part. The song makes me angry when I sing it. I think that's why I stopped playing it for a while. Because it just brings it all back. I can see the guy. Oh, yeah. Well, you know. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Any requests out there? Anything anybody wants to hear? Look forward to this all week. Kathleen is saying that. Kathleen, thank you. I look forward to this all week too. But I haven't quite got a handle on it. Mondays and Tuesdays are strange days until this. Then the rest of the week I'm kind of like, but this has to happen first. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But this is the centerpiece of my week, and it's keeping me going. And so I need to thank you so much for doing this with me, for hanging in there, because you know it's fun. It's fun. I believe we have the hand coming in. Yes.
A vocal from the hand.
Yes.
Heidi would like to hear Man with the Two-Headed Heart and what inspired you to write it.
Oh, Heidi Muller. Boy, you can't say no to Heidi Muller, can you? Did I tell you a story about this song once, Heidi? And you're just remembering it and you want other people to hear it? Because I don't know that I have a story for this song. It's one of the ones that people request a lot, though. So I guess I should. We were probably in a songwriting group together when I wrote this, huh? Yeah. Well, guys, you know, I think I wrote this when I was in a men's group. I tried that for a while. Met some great people. Met some great people, decided that it really wasn't inclusive enough for me. But it made me realize that there are forces, you're getting pulled. And, you know, I don't know, maybe this is not just something that is true for men, but I've only ever been a guy. So I don't really know how to speak from another perspective. So this is my perspective in all these songs. And I cannot occupy the reality of any other kind of gender. I can imagine, but I cannot live it. So, man, there's the struggle between family and career. There's dualities. And, you know, so that's in this song. Two-headed heart can represent those kinds of forces that are at work in everybody's life. I mean, trying to balance, what was I calling it? The soul versus the wallet. I believe I used that term recently. Soul versus wallet. That's a duality. Two-headed heart. There was a period in my life where I worked because I needed to make money. I needed to make money because I had young children who were growing up, and every year they got more expensive. That's what happens with kids. They become more expensive. The way you can tell it's time for them to leave home is that you can no longer afford to give them what they want. Usually by that time they're old enough to go out and help bring in what's going to get them those things. That's the process. We all go through it. I went through it, certainly. So that's part of it. I don't know how to describe it past that. And I feel like when I talk about it in those kind of mundane terms, it kind of takes something away from the song, you know? What I like about this song is that it's mysterious and that it doesn't really identify exactly what is the thing. But thanks for asking, Heidi. Bill, you can play it once. Maybe not.
There's a man with a two-headed heart down there, standing by the road in his underwear. He's making quite a scene, but he doesn't seem to care. The man with the two-headed heart's down there. There's a man with a two-headed heart close by, looking out for love 'cause he doesn't want to die, pointing with his thumb towards the southern sky. The man with the two-headed heart's close by. There's a man with a two-headed heart I met, standing by the eaves so he wouldn't get wet. I don't know where I'm going, but I'll get there yet, said the man with the two-headed heart I met. Oh. There's a man with a two-headed heart outside. He's been there all day, but he hasn't got a ride. His thumb is sagging, but his smile is wide. The man with the two-headed heart's outside. There's a man with a two-headed heart in here. He looked a little lonely, so I offered him a beer. Says he's gotta go when the road is clear. The man with the two-headed heart's in here. In here. There's a man with a two-headed heart down there, standing by the road in his underwear. He's making quite a scene, but he doesn't seem to care. The man with the two-headed heart's down there. Down there. Close by, close by. Outside.
Thank you, Heidi, for that request. Ooh. There's a lot of information in that song. You know, I like talking about the origins of songs. Although sometimes I feel like it takes some of the air out of them. I used to believe that a song needed to stand on its own, so I shouldn't do any talking. I should get up and I should present my songs and I should say, I'm Bill Davie. I'm a singer-songwriter. Thank you very much for your kind attention. And get the heck off the stage. Now I get up and I just babble. And sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about. What am I talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about. But Diane likes it. And when it comes right down to it, she's it. If she's happy, the world is a great place. Yeah. Alrighty then. Nope. Nope.
Fetch me a bucket of mud, Maggie, fetch me a bucket of mud. We're gonna build a mud house 4 feet tall so we can walk around without feeling small. It'll have a mud front porch, a mud patio, even mud toilet seats in case you gotta go. It'll also have hot and cold running mud, so fetch me a bucket of mud. Fetch me a bucket of mud, Maggie, fetch me a bucket of mud. We're gonna build a mud variety store with different mud departments on every floor, with mud elevators, mud escalators, a muddy cafeteria with mud-caked waiters, serving muddy coffee from muddy percolators. Fetch me a bucket of mud. Fetch me a bucket of mud, Maggie, fetch me a bucket of mud. We're gonna build a mud-powered automobile with mud-filled crash dummies sitting at the wheel. We'll take it out and test it on muddy mountain roads with mud-covered landmines waiting to explode. With a sexy advertisement, we can turn mud into gold. Gold. Fetch me a bucket of mud. Fetch me a bucket of mud, Maggie, fetch me a bucket of mud. We're gonna manufacture a mud politician with mud puppy eyes and a muddy sense of mission. He'll muddy up the House floor, muddy up the Senate, muddy up the meaning of the mud committee minutes. He'll set new foreign imported mud limits. Fetch me a bucket of mud.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Treehouse Concert number 8, another gallery of imperfections. Yes, something for the archives. Now, in case you don't know, I am archiving all of these on my YouTube channel so that you can go back and revisit the carnage, the glory and the carnage that are the Treehouse concerts. I wish that I had recorded the concert with Marjorie Richards and the concert with Heidi Muller so that they could be up there too, but they're still available on Facebook if you are into scrolling a little bit. I found out today that if you're watching on the screen where you can see the comments go up, there's another tab there that says Next. If you go to that tab on the when you're replaying, then it shows, at least on for me, it shows all my other videos, and you can kind of scroll real easy right there. These are all these weird little secrets, algorithmic secrets. Figuring out that interweb. Yes. Yes, I'll have to call my daughter to find out how to do anything more than I'm already doing. Thanks everybody for hanging in there. I am so glad that an Ethernet cable keeps this going because it's so much more fun doing this when I don't have to worry about connectivity as much, you know. So if you're looking for the secret to how Bill does it, Ethernet cable. Yeah. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing great. Thanks once again. Happy birthday to Stacy. And hope to see you sometime soon. Hope you are doing well up there. I bet you are. I think you're living a great life. Keep up the good life. All of you. We'll see you next week. Okay? Bye-bye.